ために最も必要なもの、それは運です。
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Project Webtoons podcast, coming at you again for some of the hottest, latest webtoons out on the net right now. I am, of course, always your big man, your host. It is Sleepy, and with me, my very special co-host, still a little injured once more, but
Arc Dragoon.
Hey, how are you doing today, Arc? I know we took a little bit of a break again.
Kind of
break, kind of lazy, either way. Yeah, but no, we wanted to get one more in the can for everybody, since I know we're gonna have another off week here coming up. Got a few things in the plan and working for that, but yeah, how you been though?
I mean, we're not Seraph, who decided to just like, I'm gonna go to a convention, and I'm like, you sure that's a good idea? You really want to be in a sea of people?
A sea of weeds.
Right now.
There's a difference. A sea of weeds.
A sea of weeds right now. You know these people don't bathe or put deodorant on, right?
Oh, that's not entirely true. They have rules now at all the cons that are very explicitly stated that you must bathe. Yeah. Either way, he's gonna go meet up with some of our other friends, so hopefully he'll spread the word of the podcast there while he's at it. But yeah,
spread the plague.
That too. He can do it at the same time. See, just multitask this. You know, that's how it's all working. But yeah, let's see. I did want to get in with some of the chapters that we got this week, because I know we've got new ones coming up with, of course, Lore Olympus, Mookhyang, Beginning After the End, Let's Play, God of Highschool, Omniscient, Viewpoint. We're going to be starting up here, as well as Skeleton Couldn't Protect the Dungeon. So we are going to be going forward with the current chapters and moving on from there. So if you haven't caught up, definitely catch up on those and then listen to that part of the section of the podcast so that we're not spoiling anything for you. But yeah, you ready to get into some discussions then here, Ark?
I don't think I have a choice, but okay.
I mean, you always have a choice. You literally have a button on there that could kill this whole thing if you wanted to.
No, that's not how that works.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you know better than that, but still. All right.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, whatever. All right, let's jump into our first one here, since you brought it up while we were literally getting ready for the show. I wanted to get your reactions on it, since it's right out of the gate. Lore Olympus. Chapters 166 to 168.
I'm glad that we are having less time from Persephone and Hades. Like we had a lot of Persephone and Hades.
We had a lot of moments of them like building the relationship. But then again, we did have a very long like section there where those two were separated. So we got time with her and then time with him. But now, we're actually getting that time where we got to see them being a couple and kind of reconciling with each other's issues. But now we're back into like the story beats going forward with them as an actual dual couple that it seems like most of the underworld, or at least most of Olympus knows, but I think some people aren't exactly accepting of it or aren't entirely in the loop for it. But I am agreeing with you that it is fun to see them getting into those things.
You mean like how we've been wondering where the fuck Demeter was, but apparently Apollo's Bob was just like, no, I got this. Let me show you. And you're like, Demeter, I don't know how this happened. Can someone explain to me how this happened? Because Demeter should not have been easily caught. But you know,
I mean, it doesn't really fit into her mythological character. But at the same time, they're taking some loose interpretations with how they want to do this. So yeah. Though there with Demeter finally, at least we found out where she's been at, what she's been up to, and Also, there's other like story elements that we're still wondering about that they haven't kind of put on the back burner. Still over the fact that Minith is still trapped as a plant.
Fine.
Yeah, that is fine, but we've still got that in the background. I'm still waiting more for what Dad's got in stored. But in 166 and 167, I'm trying to remember because it's been a little bit. Do you remember what the discussion was between them?
Between who?
Not with Demeter.
Demeter doesn't. I don't believe Demeter has a discussion.
Okay.
It's Apollo talking to his mom, and Apollo's mom is like, "Hey, I went to go talk to Persephone, and she is not into you." And then Apollo's like, "No, mom, she just doesn't know better." And Apollo's mom is like,
okay, yeah.
Apollo's mom is like, "Okay, you can ask for anyone you want, right? Like, and like, there's almost anyone who would say no to you. Why would you choose like the 1% who would say no to you?" And then Apollo's like, "But I really want her." And she goes, "Well, go ask your dad then." And he goes, "Zeus really doesn't."
Might be a little pissed at me right now because of things. Yeah, I am definitely on the up that his mom knows how much of an asshole he is, and it's just, of course, a mother's love she'll never turn on her son or her children. But yeah, even she's like, I pushed as pretty hard as I could, and I don't think there's any way I see you two getting together, at least not in the more acceptable way. And
you know what? You have to do that third world country shit and kidnap her. You realize this, right? Like, that's literally what she says. Because she's like, you just have to go get Zeus to give her to you. And I was like, that sounds,
I mean, he's already done worse. So, it doesn't seem out of his repertoire at all, really, at this point. But yeah, I know that she does basically take him back and she goes, "I'm going to help you." And I don't know if she's like calling in a favor, but she like gives him something, and tells him like, she's got a way to like kind of get around this situation.
Oh yeah. She presents Demeter.
Oh, okay.
Demeter's in the cage and she's like, "Here, let me show you." And Demeter's somehow in the cage. And I was like, why is Demeter captured here? Like, what happened?
When did she get that upper hand?
Yeah, like, I know she's a Titan and all, just like how Demeter is supposed to be a Titan.
Yeah, Demeter is a Titaness. Yeah, so is she.
But
how did she trick one of the oldest Titans into a cage?
Especially Demeter, who was already like on the run from Zeus. So like, how did she like trap herself in this? I'm just so confused.
My only guess is, after she had the discussion with Persephone, she kind of was like, all right, I'm just going to do this preemptively in case, but at the same time, I'm still going to tell my son, all right, maybe this is just a no-go and he'll let it go, but in case he doesn't, this is plan C for me. So let me show you how this works. Yeah, so we'll have to see. I'm sure that it's going to be some straight up blackmail, but after that, with 168 coming out, we get Hades and Persephone going to meet up with Hephaestus before all of a sudden Ares drops in. And he's there basically as errand boy to pick up his son and tell him to like, you need to go see your mom. But he won't say why, but he's just telling her, you need to go see your mom because she kind of wants to see you. I'm trying to remember, is there any like deep like double receipted like tension between those two in mythology? Like there's a reason why he really just doesn't want to go see his family. Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I think it's weird because in some lore, I think Hephaestus is married to Aphrodite.
Well, he is in most lore, he's married to Aphrodite.
Yeah, but in this case, it's Ares who's married to Aphrodite. So I don't know what they did I don't know what the writer did to the lore here, where it's like, oh yeah, Hephaestus is now not Aphrodite's husband. So, but he's now their kid, right?
No, I thought she meant to go see Hera.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. It's slightly confusing. That bit there, I was slightly confused as to who they were talking about. Because they were like the bald one or something, right? The purple one. And I was like, the purple one?
Yeah, I thought they meant that he needed to go see Hera. And he said he didn't want to because he might end up running into Dad and he doesn't like him. Which would not at all be unreasonable because of them. But I can reread that one and just check to be sure. But yeah, their little discussion that's going on is being observed by both Persephone and Hades at the same time, and they're trying to eavesdrop in on it. But of course, they have to do the cute couple thing, and that ends up getting annoying. And they both tell him, "Would you please just get the fuck out of here?" But yeah, that's at least what I gleaned from that bit from what they were trying to discuss. But it goes on from there to it's Eros, and I cannot remember his love interest, but they changed her name and I can't remember what it is. But
it's a name I can't pronounce either.
Yeah, but
it's also not a name that's like used very often.
No. But yeah, both of them are basically in the middle of about to do their daily task.
Mission by Aphrodite.
Yeah, a mission for Aphrodite.
I was real lazy, and now there's a bunch of names. You need to go do this job for me, son.
Yeah. You need to go take care of this job.
But then, we get to the part there where, like, oh, guys, we get this wholesome moment between Thanatos and Daphne, and
well, we see, actually, we see two wholesome moments, because we see that wholesome moment between those two, and, him dropping her off before he has to go to work, because he's taken a bunch of days off, and Hermes is still technically on house arrest.
Yes.
Via the gods, and so she walks off, but at that same time, both Eros and his lady friend are having that that quiet moment, and things transpire a little bit more there. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that's not in 169, right?
What?
I'm trying to remember. That's not. I know I read ahead one. I want to make sure I don't say anything from.
No, Eros kisses.
He kisses his love interest, and that's.
And then it's like towards the midday, sometime after Daphne has been dropped off back on Earth.
She walks around. She sees some of the other wood spirit or wood deities, forces taking care of stuff. The spirits. Yeah. And
then she's walking alone when she bumps into Apollo, and then an arrow pierces Apollo, and we see that it is Eros's love interest who shot the arrow, and he's like, oh,
he looks down. Yeah, he looks down, and then he looks up, and Daphne has just this terrified look on her face, and then he looks over, and he's gonna choke somebody. And and this is the part where this is the part of the history where this is the part of the mythology that starts to move in, and I'm like, oh, please don't do this.
Especially since we had the hint before where it was like, oh, this is where these 5 people converge, 5 people go, but only 4 return or something, and you're like, oh, something's gonna happen here.
Oh no. Oh no.
And I was very curious as to like how we're going to do this part of mythology. So there's like 3 characters here will not die, okay? But there are 2 characters here that are very free to die.
Yeah. Are very, very free to be removed from the story. Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to go in line with the mythology there, because it gets very bad and dark, which already the story hasn't shied away from a lot of those topics and subjects. So if I get to a chapter and I see that text, I'm like, okay, I think I know what I'm in store for. But yeah, so it ends off there. I'm sure one of us is probably going to end up reading ahead here to get to that chapter. But Yeah. Do you want it? The question I have for you is: do you want it to continue with the mythology path, or would you like to see a subverted difference and instead it's not Daphne but it's Eros's love interest that takes this L?
I'll be honest. I think the only way this goes out is definitely
or both.
Daphne.
It has to be Daphne.
Yeah, I think it has to be Daphne.
Okay.
Because we already have it where like Thanatos is kind of like
well, Thanatos hasn't
he hasn't like really done much, but he's kind of like singing like, oh man, I was kind of in the wrong before.
Well, yeah, well he hasn't had he's had like a realization. At least he did have some minor backlash, but he didn't have any real like slap or back.
Also more of that, besides the fact that we know that in mythology Daphne dies, it's the thing where it's like this. What happens throughout that chapter? It happens where like Daphne and Thanatos are talking, and she goes, "Oh, how is it like to be the god of death?" And then he goes, "Sometimes it's like it's lonely or it's sad. Or there's a bunch of emotions, right? Sometimes it's nothing happens, or like
sometimes it's cool. It's very quiet."
And then he goes, like, "Why are you asking?" She goes, "Well, because like she's like, I'm not immortal, right?" Like she's hinting at that, right? That's literally what she's saying.
I'm probably going to be,
one day I'm going to die.
Yeah, I'm going to deal with you're going to have to deal with me on that level too. I mean, she is to a degree immortal, being of that plane.
That's because that's why we proved the fact that they are mortal, because we saw them die in the first season.
Well, yes.
When we find out why Persephone went berserk the first time.
We learned what they're tied to.
Yeah. If whatever they're tied to dies, then they can still die.
Yeah.
So, they're not an idea like the gods who like are an everlasting thing. Like, regardless of what happens, the idea that supports them will always exist.
Yeah. So yeah, she did have a very particular discussion to bring up his job and what's it like, and very specifically like the aspect of what it is to die or to deal with the dying. So yeah, if those are supposed to be very pointed hints of what is to occur for her,
this is a really, really big death flag.
Yeah,
wave that
like
around.
she could have just worn a shirt that just said, anti-life flag, if she really wanted to. But we'll see. I'm thinking maybe a duel. Like it may be like she goes, and maybe Eros, or not Eros, but his girlfriend, because Thanatos has been like having not a reckoning, but he's been having more or less a revelation. His life's gotten better. He did realize he was in the wrong, but things have been very positive for him, and he never really got that punishment. And Eros on the same level is, he knows what's going on. He's keeping it from a lot of people. And even for him, now that he's finally gotten like his love interest, he's finally connected with her. I don't know if he actually knows it's her now, but they've actually gotten closer. And now you have that occur. It's like, okay, so there's too many death flags right here. They're like too many happy moments not to instantly turn into something negative for a lot of people. Especially when you involve the main bad person with Apollo being at the epicenter of it all. I'm just like, okay, who's about to come into some bad times next is what I really want to know. But anything else, at least on those two chapters?
No.
Anything else? Okay. I did want to start with that because you brought it up right away, and I was like, okay, he's excited. I want to see what he has to say about that, just because the moment I saw that arrow go through, I was like, oh crap.
I really, really want to read the next chapter already, and I was tempted to, but like it comes out on Sundays, and I don't want to like waste my time. Yeah. Just wait, right? I can wait 2 days. After you get the next one, then I'll
then you'll be like, the relief, the sweet relief. All right. We'll go ahead. We'll move on to our next one from there. From the highs of Olympus to the lows with the darkest of ladies in Mookhyang. We got 112 to 152 here because we got a new chapter that dropped out. We are actually no longer in the war room talking strategy. We're on the battlefield. Dark.
While Dark and his like half a dozen men are like, we're just gonna go and like.
Well, his secret half a dozen men, the Salamander Knights,
yes.
whose plan seems to be half of like an actual plan and half of him having fun. The tactic goal was to have him and a couple of his knights be a survey team that's supposed to just going out and just doing some reconnaissance, but they're actually more or less the assassin group, and they go out and they take out all of the other survey teams for the enemy, and it basically leaves the enemy confused because the survey team usually
destroy these people without titans, and he's like, bitch, I'm Dark.
I mean, in so uncertain terms, yes. But yeah, that fight, especially when I don't even know why they decided to like show us the fact that the
Titans?
No, not the Titans, the one guy in their company who's basically a spy for the other team.
Yes,
because he's basically like feeding them this intel that's like, yeah, they're gonna send the survey team with, and this these hooded generals that are going through, and they're gonna have only like a couple of Titans, and it's gonna be fine, you can take them out. And they're like, yeah, we got 16 survey teams out there, it'll be fine. And all of them go down, and he's like, yeah, I don't understand that, it doesn't make any sense. And he's just like, and you see Dark in the other room like listening. He's like, yeah, I know this guy's a fucking snitch. He's like, I know this guy is a spy, but I want him to do it because I want to have some fun.
Supersonic hearing.
Because
I love that bit because his like subordinate was
his
like,
lackey.
How are you doing this?
I can't even hear them. What are you talking about? But yeah, so I mean, Dark is just continuously having fun with this. He's wanted fighting in a war so long, so this is just playing into his hand. But yeah, the battle that happens between him and no longer reconnaissance team, but a secret reconnaissance team.
Yeah, and then they meet up with a group that now has Titans, because like, we're now prepared to kill this group who don't have Titans, and then Dark was like, oh, let me tell you the secret. The secret is we always had Titans.
The Titans were always here all along.
We just had no point in using them.
But yeah,
in fact, let me show you how useless you guys are. I could fight all of you without a Titan.
Yeah. Well, until he decides, well, you know what? Let me try out my new Titan.
Yeah, let me just break it in first.
Yeah, let me show this off, and just the appearance of his new beefy
Well, it's not new.
Well,
it's his first one.
It's the first one, but yeah, the max beefy powered one that, he could only run for like 20 seconds because it would just drain all his energy.
I mean, that was before.
That was before, I know, but now he actually has control of his mana properly, so he can run it, hopefully. But yeah, I'm ready to see him just destroy the front line and then just walk off like, okay, I've had my fun for the day. I'm gonna go take a nap. I don't know if we'll see after that fight will occur, if we'll see the she's not a duke. Is she a count? I can't remember what her title was. The one that they're feeding information to. I can't remember what her title was. But it was enough that when she showed up that, she basically somehow played the enemy to make them fear if they were to admit that they were doing something, it would be considered an act of aggression against her country, and she could take action to kill them. And they stood down and gave them dragon bones without veritable proof. So I'm wondering if it'll at least pique the interest enough that she'll actually make her appearance on the battlefield, and we'll get an actual fight between her and Dark. Because I know that's going to probably be the next thing that Dark's going to want, is an actual challenge. And he knows that there are people of Gosu and stronger levels on this country, in this continent, that he's definitely amped to want to take on. So Yeah, I'm wondering if that is at least going to be where the battle after this leads to, and we get after we see what Dark's new toy can do. So how much are you thinking this is going to be a Gundam fight for the next couple of chapters? Or do you think Dark's gonna
kind of Gundam fight?
Or do you think Dark's gonna like, oh, okay, I used the Titan once. All right, now I'm not going to use it for the rest of the chapter. Because you know how much he likes to play between those two states for himself.
Find out like where he needs to go. He'd be like, oh, I don't even need this. Like that.
I kind of one thing I kind of want to see what the training actually what the training gave. Like I want to see what the knights learned from the face death training.
Oh yes.
Since they now all should be able to surpass their limit and go beyond. Do you think we'll actually get to see them fight? Or you feel let them fight?
No, because I don't think they came along, right?
Aren't they a part of the Salamander troop?
No, I think the Salamander troop
it's just
they're
them.
Just the ones that are the secret agents.
Okay. So are they just back at home guarding the homestead?
I think they're still training with the what's his name?
Yeah, the one knight.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, I was hoping that they would make it to the front lines because they've been sidelined so much after their initial introduction.
Dark is kind of like pushed the power scaling so high that he's like, no, I need you guys to catch up.
They're never gonna catch up to him. Never.
I need you guys to at least be to take a few steps on the stairs, okay? I'm all the way up there. I need you guys just take a couple of steps.
I need you to start the steps. That's all I need. I need you to get off of the at the landing at the bottom. I need you to actually begin the steps. Yeah. So
do you see the standard of your world? That's the floor. I need you to take steps, please. Just get up on the stairs.
I mean, we know that we've got other higher level standards that he has to take on still. We've already met two other dragons now on top of Dad. The one that just decided to fuck off though and go somewhere else, and his possible his first marriage proposal one that occurred. So there is at least some entities out there that we know that are above everything else that even he doesn't personally want to fuck with. But yeah, so
not true.
What's up?
He definitely wants to fuck with
he definitely wants to fuck with it, but he knows he can't win.
But he can try.
But he knows he can.
That's what he really wants to do. He's like, I know, right now, because he's always.
He's always trying to go beyond whoever the strongest is. That's the goal of cultivation, is to be stronger infinitely.
If you read the origin is like, his whole purpose is like, nah, I just want to get stronger. I don't care about the politics of the world. Just leave me alone.
Well, I mean, that's usually the goal of a lot of cultivators. It's just get stronger than everything else, regardless of everything that's happening. Yeah. So, anything though that I missed in those 3 chapters though? Anything that you wanted to bring up? Anything that you got speculation on?
No, I have no idea where to go with this. Mookhyang is one of those ones that you look at. I still have no idea.
It's not like a lot of the standard shonens where you're kind of like, okay, this is the training arc, this is the learning spot, this is the tournament, this is the end of the first arc. You know, all of that.
All I know is that Dark isn't going to lose. Because he's not facing basically a dragon or a god. And even against a dragon, it's like a 50-50 toss-up. Unless it's the same level as his dad, basically, right? Whereas I am basically a god on this world. Like, that's literally what you have to be at.
All right. So yeah, Yeah, there is nobody else really that is beyond his dad that he is more inclined to want to fight on a regular basis. I mean, he hasn't fought his dad straight up, though he's asked him to, hasn't he?
Maybe.
I mean, I think he's asked him at least to, but I think it only culminated in like, I'm gonna teach you like how to handle the pressure or the stance of this if you face another opponent like me. But I don't think it actually like straight it up. It ended in like any kind of duel or anything. But yeah, yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll definitely keep an eye on that because that story is definitely not like normal the shonens that we normally follow. For sure.
No, it's definitely a different thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we'll go ahead. We'll move on here to our next one that does kind of follow that normal path of shonen with Solo Leveling 159 and 160. Big man Wu was doing his thing, finally getting it down with the other monarchs as they were attacking the city full out. And yeah, this fight was a little more than he's used to, for sure. It wasn't as the cakewalk as he's normally known to take on, and he did at least take out the insect monarch. She went down. Yeah, he does. He takes out the insect monarch. She goes down because she makes a comment about like, oh, is this what death is like? You know, even though I'm a monarch, you know, and it's not uncommon because we can bring ourselves back, but this is what it's like to face like actual darkness.
Maybe I didn't read it as that. Let me double check.
Yeah, you can. But he took her down, and then it was down to both the Beast Monarch and the Monarch of Frost. And that didn't go too well for him.
No, the Beast Monarch is like,
well, the Beast Monarch is straight up like, yeah,
he pierces the shit out of him.
Yeah, he's basically like, I know you're so fond of that speed ability of yours, and he straight up catches him right through the heart. And all of his most of his minions were being frozen, but that's when, after he's caught through the heart, and the Ice Monarch comes up to him and goes, hey, I'm going to return the sword to you, and just shoves that through his chest too, just to make sure, and tells him that he's his plan of what he's going to do going forward, and that once the gates fully open and their minions touch down, everyone on the planet will die, but everybody in your country will not die. I'm going to freeze them all in place, and they're all going to just suffer for eternity. And he just looks at him and goes, now give me the face that I want to see, that face that you know that all of your loved ones are forever going to be tortured because you failed. And right at that point, we just see life, you see him like talking about like, I can heal from this, and then life drops to 0 and player has died.
Yes. But then he didn't die, maybe.
But then we remembered he has an unknown skill. The unknown max level skill, which finally activates at that very moment and goes into effect. And what does that effect do? It transports him. It transports him back to the very beginning, before he, right when he's in the hospital, and before he even joins, before he joins up with the guild again, before he gets any of his credits or accolades, all the way back. But he retains all of his skills at the level they're at. So apparently, the unknown skill is.
We don't know how this skill actually works.
We don't, but we think that, but it's believed that the unknown skill is redo.
Because he could still be in a dream state or something, because he calls out the Shadow Monarch at the end. Like,
well, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was trying to lead to, is that, yeah, after he seemingly goes back, he starts re-going through all of his all of his days, but he's doing them in different orders where he just goes straight to the guild. He goes and gets his reevaluation to show that he's now stronger than he was. He asks to go and see the president. He tells him that he's not joining the guilds. He basically informs the president of what's about to occur. And then, he talks to a few people, but that's when he basically goes, okay, when are you going to come out here? I know that this is all fake. And that's when the shadow, or at least we think is the shadow monarch, the actual one living inside his heart, appears. I don't believe it responds to him. The chapter ends with him seeing it. And we don't know if this is the ability, the unknown ability working, if it's him getting to talk to the monarch, because
what happens is the unknown ability triggers, but then the unknown ability keeps constantly asking him if he wants to restart the world.
Well, if he wants to restart the world.
But we don't see him actually click yes or anything. He just ignores it. And then that's when the part where the shadow monarch shows up, and the shadow monarch is like, "You rang?" Like
he was Lurch. You called for me, boss?
Yeah, right. So
yeah.
So we're not entirely sure where this goes, because this could be like a split fraction before he's death, and it's like, oh, this is what the ability is, or something.
Well, because that was the thing I was wondering, because like even if you pierce his heart, like one of the text box read, he has two hearts. It says the heart of shadow is now in effect, and it's like, okay, so it just swapped over to the other heart that he actually has that's containing this other ability. And I don't know if this is now like, yeah, he's now getting to actually meet the Shadow Monarch, because that was the one thing that the Frost Monarch kept saying is like, yeah, I don't care how powerful you are, you're still not a complete monarch. You haven't actually absorbed the power of the shadow. So while you are powerful, you're not as powerful as all of us combined. And I don't know if now this is, we're at that point which would normally mostly occur. Now the Shadow Monarch has appeared, and now he's in that split twilight between life and death, and he can now talk to him and either accept what he was supposed to do and the Shadow Monarch takes over, or if he's going to absorb the Monarch, or at least convince him to allow him to use his power fully, since already it seems like, the Monarch's at least goal is, I'm not going to be on the side of the other Monarchs. I'm going to fight them. And he's already doing that. So I'm guessing that, yeah, this is pretty common though, wouldn't you say? Like the most of the time, like the character gets that, right at the point where they're about to lose, and then something occurs and they basically have to make the one choice, or or take the unknown path that leads them to just more power.
I'm not Seraph. He's the one who's read ahead.
Well, he's read ahead, but he wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't like look at him and go like, "Tell me the answer."
No, but he'd be like, I can't tell you.
Just say words. Just say make sounds and noises that let me know how close or far away I am from the actual answer. But yeah, but this has been one thing that we've wanted for a while, or at least asked. Like, there's been no point in him like going and doing dungeons or dealing with the other national hunters, because he's more powerful than all of them. But now when it came to an actual monarch, a straight fight between them all, is he truly at their level, or is he just kind of like playing in their sandbox? But he definitely couldn't take that down, and now we actually see him like straight up like lose.
I don't know.
You don't know? You're not really sure?
I have no idea.
You'll just wait for that next chapter to see what it leads to?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Well, if anyone else has got any insight on that, definitely leave a comment below. Let us know what they think of those chapters, or what's to come if you have any predictions of what you see going down. Will he reset the world? Will it be easier to just reset the world? Especially if it's like he sees it in his vision, starting off at 100 all the way back at level 1. But yeah, we'll move on forward from there out of solo leveling into our next one, Down with the King of all Kings and Beginning After the End. Got, what was it, 113 to 115 here. Arthur is back in normal school session after, well, Good Sky getting the crap beat out of her and showing up, and I mean, Lucas didn't show up in any of the things, but Arthur also overhearing some information. And our last chapter with what's his name, Elias, and his unknown vision that he had, which we did not get an answer to.
No,
that just carried on. So. Yeah. I gotta go talk to somebody about that. Like, so they didn't tell us anything. So how far off base are you on that prediction? Exactly. Yeah, but not getting any information on that. We did move forward though with Arthur continuing classes as normal, him still doing training, him handling.
He goes and sees his family.
With Tess, because very specifically he's requested to do that because they believe that, you know, Tess is going to be targeted and it'd be better if she was with Arthur. He declines the offer, but listening to non-reason, he doesn't really have a choice in the matter. So we get at least one wholesome chapter of Tess and the family, Arthur's sister being super excited seeing his brother back, but also seeing Tess so she can show off her bow that she got as a gift from her. We also get a moment between Arthur's mom and Tess where she's discussing the upcoming class trip into the dungeon, and there she brings up that, you know, we know, you know you're powerful, but, you know, I'll watch out for Arthur. And she goes, no, you need to watch out for yourself too. You know, your parents wouldn't want you in a position where you're going to be put in danger. Arthur can handle himself if he needs to. She's already felt that once when Arthur nearly died after he had to basically go full on Super Saiyan against the Elderwood.
Yes.
So, and he's come back from that. So we know that he's prepared to handle the situation if he needs to. But going from there, we still have the mystery of what's happening in one of the other dungeons with the creatures appearing very weirdly and moving erratically. And also on top of that, Good Sky is just okaying this trip for all of these first year students to go into a dungeon when she knows shit's going down in the dungeon.
I don't know.
I'm questioning her sanity at this point.
Harry Potter all over again. Where it's like,
there may be a troll down this road. Right. Okay, everyone go in the woods. It's fine.
Now, I know Voldemort is out there, but we're going to hold the Triwizard Cup anyways, all right? And you're like, sir, but you know there's terrorists out there who are willing to kill all these kids.
But the difference there is that we're instantly told and shown that we know there are people that have good head in mind and they're surely telling this person that that's a bad idea, but the person in charge is like, no, we want to wipe over the fact that we basically can't handle the situation, and this is how we're basically gaslighting the world from our own incompetence. That's where the difference is. We're not really shown that Good Sky knows that something's wrong and someone's telling her, and they're like, yeah, you maybe shouldn't do this, but it seems like this is classified information between her and the Lances, and nobody else in the school, of the student body or the school's teachers know what's really happening.
Yeah, I feel like that's even more problematic because that means that becomes worse than Harry Potter, because at least in Harry Potter, I'm going to say this, Snape may have been a bad guy, but Snape was like, sir, this is a stupid idea. and then, you know, he was like, nah, we're gonna go do stupid ideas anyway.
Nah, we're doing this. And then he puts on his hat and goes, welcome to Jackass.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it maybe, but I don't know who's supposed to be the voice of reason is besides Arthur. And it's hard for that to be the voice of reason when he's also supposed to be the character that's supposed to face all of these dangers anyway. So yeah, I don't know.
That's simple. He can be the voice of reason and be like, "Why are we doing this? That's stupid."
But I mean, he has to be.
Kids are going to survive.
But he has to be informed of that.
These kids are going to survive.
But he has to be informed of that in order to be the voice of reason. So
but even if he wasn't completely informed, it's not like Arthur doesn't already know that the school has this weird shady thing where there were kids with tattoos on their fucking backs that's like I'm going to go Super Saiyan and no, I'm going to go to Majin Vegeta and burn out basically. And you're like, I already know there's something weird with the school going right now. Maybe we should solve that first before we send the kids
Maybe we should do that before we do this other thing, which also has something weird going on.
Nope. We just ignore it.
Steam forward ahead.
I feel like
Steam
this is
forward
a bad
ahead.
idea.
I don't know. Maybe it could be the fact that they want to have two separate stories where the Lances have their own thing that they're dealing with that's completely separate from at least Arthur until a later date. Or this is the Lances are taking care of it, so we don't need to worry about it. And then Arthur has his own little problem going on with the student body and the kids that were getting the tattoos. And then we're going to kind of have them overlap, fuck up kind of thing. Actually, the monsters are acting weird because some person is experimenting on them, and that's the person who's also doing the whole tattoo thing, because it's somehow a result of that. I'm just throwing out acidine speculation, but still. After the fact that they did that whole Elias thing and then just went, nope, not talking about it this next chapter, I'm just like, what?
I don't know. I thought it was weird. I'm not saying I can't see this happening, all right? But I just need someone to at least bring up the retardedness of people just once in the story, okay? If you bring it up once, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, at least someone addressed it. Someone fucking addressed it. That's all you gotta do.
So we need someone to just be like, okay, I feel like a lot of these plans are really dumb, and we probably shouldn't do them. Just someone needs to say this is stupid out loud. That's all we need. But unfortunately, no one is there to do that. So let the Benny Hill music play. Yeah. Oh yeah, also the way that chapter ended, they go into the excursion and guess who's on his team? Right away, Lucas. Yeah. If he didn't need one more reason to be pissed off.
I mean, I know what's gonna happen, but
do you think? Okay, you know what's gonna happen. Do you think he's gonna get a chance to drop Lucas in a pit of monsters and be like, he died from unknown causes?
I think everyone would like to see that.
I'm just the Batman thing. You're a student. You wouldn't kill me. He's like, yeah, I know I don't, but I don't have to save you either. And then traps him somewhere and goes, you get out now by yourself.
I'm not spoiling it.
You're not?
You know I'm not.
I know, but still. It would be so much great karma. Alright, so beyond that, how did we at least for those couple of chapters? I know that you may think of one of talking on the stupidity of at least some of the plot being set up. At least for some characters.
It's just the stupidity of the faculty. That's all it is.
Is it stupidity or incompetence?
Both.
But is it really the faculty's fault, or is it just good skies?
No, there's no way. There's no way. At least the faculty doesn't know about the kids with the tattoos on their back.
Okay.
That bit, I think, at least they should. The faculty should know at least, because there's no way that word didn't go around. Be like, oh yeah, one of the kids died. Yeah, okay,
and they had these strange symbols in blood on his back.
That bit, they should know. The other stuff, I guess not. But even then, I will just say that even if they don't know, there are the Lances who know, and I feel like they should be like, yeah, maybe maybe you shouldn't be sending students out into a dungeon.
At least not right now. Not until we kind of have a handle on this whole situation. Like, someone needs to be the adult here. I feel like everyone's missing the point of that. Just someone say, this is dumb. This is stupid. We should really rethink this. I need to check with JC on this one, because I know he made the comment that he thinks everyone on that continent is dumb. So I kind of wonder how he feels about these two chapters after that.
No, they're not dumb. They're all incompetent.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're incompetent. I'll have to bring that to him. Are they dumb or are they incompetent? Which one do you think is more appropriate?
They're very, very incompetent.
All right. Anything on those couple of chapters that I missed out or you wanted to bring up or discuss?
It's like they have one job and they all do it very poorly. And the only person who relatively does the job like decently is the main character. And that's because this is his second life. This is his second life. This is like saying that because like if you compare like his personality from like his first lifetime where he was like, yeah, I just got tired of being king and I just retired myself. And you're like, I feel like you were kind of incompetent too or something, right? Because politically speaking, you had so much power. And you was like, nah, I'm good. And then you just left. I don't know why you left.
But I mean...
But okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't know why you left, but isn't that like so many characters though? They're just like, I'm already at the top. I don't want to handle any of this anymore. Bye.
I'm good, right?
I mean, how many masters / like top level people are like that, where they're just like, I'm already the strongest. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm gonna go away.
I'm basically immortal. I don't want to deal with the mortal world anymore. It's fine.
I'm just gonna go into the woods and train there and not talk to any of you. Yeah. I don't want to. Fuck off. Just screw this. That doesn't seem unusual.
Like, he's living his second life, so like that's like so many years of experience, and then now he's like, oh wait, I actually do have to care because apparently I'm the only
I'm the only competent person in this entire world. Oh crap. I mean,
didn't I quit the first time because I didn't want any of this? Yes.
I didn't want to deal with it.
Why do I have to deal with it now? Because you're the only person who knows. God damn it.
I feel it's kind of a mixture of that, where I know, but he doesn't really know. All right, let's move on to our next one then, going out there. Over to our favorite game developer in all her glory, Let's Play. 130 to 132 here with the night ending with Samara's first time, her and Charles.
Yep.
Yeah. So story picks up with Samara basically remembering, well, not remembering, but being informed that she was supposed to do a raid that night, and she also left Bowser all alone. Well, not all alone. She forgot about Bowser.
But yeah. No, don't worry though. It was all fine because apparently the raid and everything was fine.
Because the raid was canceled anyway. The raid was canceled. Yeah, the raid was canceled because one of their teammates is grounded, which I'm pretty sure I think we know why. And also, Bowser was being taken care of by the landlady, so everything was okay. Bowser didn't starve or end up having to be trapped inside of a house by himself all this time. But yeah, so Samara.
But don't worry, the dog knows, and the dog's like, hey, Blondie, pick me up. And he's like, what?
Well, very clearly, Charles and Samara head back to her place and pick up Bowser, and Bowser's
the old
like,
lady embarrassed the shit out of her, and she's like, hey, weren't you wearing that yesterday? And
wink, nudge, hint.
There's marks on your neck, you know that, right? And she's like, oh dear Lord, why are you like this?
It's all right. She gets a glance at Charles too, and she's like, oh yeah. She's definitely willing to let out her her little input of like, I would definitely tap that too. I'd come home wearing the same thing. It's okay. It's all good. But yeah, they do make their way back to her place, and that's when they run into our would-be streamer. Coming back, I'm guessing either from morning coffee or morning workout. But he runs into them.
I don't know. I think he was just leaving the apartment.
Or was he just leaving the apartment?
Because it had it where he was having difficulties before, right? Because he was like...
Well, him and his girlfriend were basically having a discussion. They broke up, or they needed some separation because he was having basically identity issues with, you know, her being always in streamer mode 24/7, and him having a difficulty time with, you know, being both the streamer personality, but then also wanting to be just himself. And he was also having she didn't really know who he was, also for the fact, like, I don't think she really knows even about his, like, he had a very abusive past as well with his father. So I don't think, and he was having reoccurring nightmares with that too, so I don't think overall that was helping anything. And yeah, him kind of like not really coming to terms with that, but I think that's going to be at least one of the continuing story arcs in this season for him in dealing with that too. But yeah, he was just either coming out of the apartment or heading to it, and he runs into both Samara and Charles, and he sees Bowser just all snuggled up, and he goes into full-on martial mode and is super sad that, you know, the dog is giving him love for no reason, even though he supposedly gives all the doggy hugs. Yeah, Bowser's made his choice as to who he's at least rooting for in Samara's life. So I'll defer all choices to Bowser's wisdom here. But the chapter does end off with Samara inviting Charles into her place.
Would you mind Hey, let's not finish that word. You wanna get some coffee?
I mean, that's not any better. Not really.
I mean, yeah. It's better than saying the word.
Is it?
It's like it's less on the nose.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, so nothing too much to these two chapters though, between everything. Still waiting to see what's up with Link's brother and what he's actually doing, since he's the other one on their raid party. Yeah, still more with Marshall and that whole situation. I don't know if we'll see anything or get anything else from Samara's friends, or if that relationship between Link and, I don't remember the one redhead on the team. Yes, the angry boxer on the team, if that will turn to anything. But yeah, so nothing too crazy on there. Anything though that you wanted to bring up or really enjoyed in those chapters?
No.
All right, good. We'll go ahead, we'll move on there from that one over to our next, which I know is always such a joyous topic to bring up with, in the God of High School once more. 523, 526, what's up?
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
I mean, I always enjoy it. It's more or less trying to keep a just runaway train somehow on the tracks. Yeah, so last time we got Morihjin to finally show up into the fight.
No, I will say this. Apparently, guys, I was wrong, because all the foreshadowing had no purpose to it, because we're just going to introduce a new character. Okay, now you can continue, because that's the worst thing possible, but go ahead.
That's the worst thing possible? Okay, so...
It is the worst thing possible, narratively speaking.
So... we ended off with, yeah, Morihjin showing up. All the U's from all the other Dragon Bones have been collected. We see that he has somewhat of a perfect mastery. He does take out the deer deity and W.E.B.T.O.O.N, and he's working on the masked person who we all.
No, he also took care of Ryong.
Oh no, well, I don't think he took care of him. Ryong was being controlled, and then after he killed the bunny, Ryong basically finally like decided to join him.
No, he didn't.
He was going to.
He was like, I'm gonna fight you anyways. And then they kind of do the thing where like,
well, he asked me, he's like, I wanted to, he's like, why didn't you, he's like, why didn't you,
sorry on the inside, but none of us are actually going to say these things. I'm still going to punch you real hard.
I'm going to punch you real good because that's the only way we know how to talk.
Because we're beyond the point of asking for forgiveness or like anything. Guys, we just never say anything. Because we're real men and we keep our feelings on the inside or something.
I don't know. But yeah, so but no, the masked individual who I think I said I thought it was the clone. Who did you say you thought it was?
No, we all thought it was the fucking clone.
Okay,
because that kid had no purpose in the story.
I mean, it was just a rehash of the first part of the story.
Yeah,
but instead it was an anti-Morrigan instead of a positive one. That's the only difference. But it was not. It was not. Guys, we were wrong.
It was his master who taught him all this stuff whom we've never ever met before, or whom we've never ever been mentioned before, or like I don't even know if he's talked about in the actual lore. Because I'll be honest, I should not have to like look up every single lore reference for a character that's probably talked like once, like mentioned once or maybe twice, okay? Because I've never ever actually seen the early years of the Monkey King talked about this much before, alright? It skips through it a lot because it's irrelevant. Monkey King is just a prodigy who kind of like gets it anyway. So there's no point.
It's not even the fact that he is a prodigy, but it's more or less giving us information and understanding to his personality as to why he's like he is, and it's because he's directly from Gaia.
He was basically lonesome before, guys. Everything he did himself very selfishly. We got that. Cool. Can we move on? No. I have to hammer in your head that he was just always doing things by himself. But now things are different. He has the power of friendship on his side, guys.
I mean, he learned the power of friendship before too, and it turned out horrible for him. But now he can recognize all the evil people around him, so he can protect the friendship. He won't be forced to do the horrible thing in order to gain even more power to take on and get revenge.
You know the part that really got me angry was when we find out that like who he is, right? Who the masked guy is, and he's like, "This is for you for betraying all the monkeys." And I was like, "Wait, didn't the monkeys just like join up Monkey King's side earlier and help him?" Yeah, and then you guys just killed them all. Yeah. What? They were fine. I know all of them did not survive the war, but this doesn't make any sense when you're like, it's your fault for killing all the monkeys. And I was like, did you just do the same though? I meant worse.
Do you remember that mass genocide you committed against the monkeys? Yeah, they're not intact. They're not at all very sure of their actions that they're committing. They're just doing them because things demand that they happen. So we do get another flashback explaining this person's origin and how they're the first master of not Morrigan, but his original self as the Monkey King. And
don't worry, he was also a god created by Gaia.
Yes.
Also
from her death. Because he's not. He is a god.
Gaia,
he is a god, but he's not technically, because he didn't come from the heavenly realm like the others. So
no, he's like Gaia.
But
he was like, oh, Gaia died. But so then I came after Gaia.
Yeah, he's supposed to be kind of a reincarnation, but he's not, because that's who Zhao Zhang is. She's a direct recreation incarnation of Gaia.
Apparently we can have like 100 reincarnations that are just separate from another, because this one's like, hey, I know Monkey King did these terrible things, but if I offer you servitude, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna tell you this, I do not remember this at all being a part of the actual Monkey King story, where it was like, hey, let me sacrifice myself for the Monkey King first, all right? Because why was this never mentioned before this iteration here, guys?
I can't tell you. I can't. So yeah, yeah. I don't know where else we're going with the story, but yeah, the person basically pledges servitude to
the Hataga.
And yeah, that's kind of how that goes. What else happens after that? Try to remember.
I think that's basically it, because it's still more just like backstory where they and then he's like, show me that I was not wrong in saving like, your life or whatever. Yeah, and then you're like,
basically it's like, yeah, everything about what you did is wrong, and you know, you're the reason that the things are they are, because you ended up eating Zhao to you know, you did it selfishly to gain power, also, blah blah blah.
I'm still at the point here where I feel like he didn't. Okay, like, because no one, the problem with this so far is that we have not seen explicitly by him that he has eaten, he did actually eat like the Buddha. That's why I'm so confused here, because everyone sounds like they're assuming it. It's like I have not seen it where Mori Jin is like, yeah, I did. Do you understand it? At no point.
I think he did admit that he did eat, because there's, I think, a scene where, you know, they do a flashback of his own memory of the Buddha dying, and she tells him to eat her, but we don't actually get to see that he chooses to eat her though. Well, I think the flashback ends with, you know, him actually, it just turns red and you see him like scarfing down with blood, and that was supposed to be that end, and I think that was the omission of him doing it in his own head.
No, I need to see it explicitly, because I feel like it's going to do the stupid thing where it's going to be like this, guys, you were all wrong. He never ate her in the
he never did
place.
It.
And they'd be like, wait, what? But no, he never did. Because because the way they've set it up so far is it makes no sense for Monkey King to have done that. If like he was like, oh yeah, I chose to not invite Ryong along because I don't want him to bear the burden of this. But instead of like just telling him straight out, I was just like, no, we're just going to abandon him. Like, right? Like, it makes no sense the way they've set Monkey King up in the past now, where like all these things have happened, where it's always been just all miscommunication between everyone, and it's suddenly now you're going to tell me that this one bit is the truth. I'm going to tell you that I don't believe it, because you set up everything else as a lie. So then why would I believe that this part here is the truth when I have not seen it explicitly said, or like explicitly in an actual memory, like acknowledged by Mori that like, he doesn't even say it now. If he said it out loud,
he never like admits it to them, but I'll have to like look at that as well. But yeah, like so far with him being accused of it, he never explicitly agrees to that, but I think it's supposed to be like, I'm not answering you because you already know the truth, so why are you even bringing it up?
I'm not answering it because it's the thing where it's like, oh yeah,
or it won't
like,
matter.
Look at Monkey King's like story. He gets accused of doing a lot of things. Yeah, he does a lot of bad things, but it's also at the same time, it's like, you know, like I just wanted a position in heaven, and then you guys did this, and then you guys tricked me. Do you understand this? And then that's why I went and ate all the fucking peaches, because I said, fuck you guys, because you guys
are dicks.
Yeah, you guys are dicks. You deserve this, okay? And then even then, it's not like Monkey King knew exactly what was going on. He was just like, I just ate a bunch of peaches that were there, all right? Fuck that tree, right? So like everything has always been like, Monkey King's always just like, no, like no one.
He's doing doing something horribly unholy and very disingenuous. Is like, no, I was just pissed at you guys, so I randomly did something and I didn't know it was to anything wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like, I didn't know this was your special garden.
Yeah, so you were telling me that now that like for some odd reason that they were right all along, because I'm gonna tell you this, the story was always been like, I'm not saying that Monkey King isn't responsible for his actions, but like a lot of it is predicated on the premise that like everyone believes wrong in Monkey King. Like the story when like Piggy convinces the Buddha that's like, oh yeah, don't worry, that pretty lady there is not actually a monster that Monkey King is telling you. I know she's a monster, but I'm going to tell you that she's just a pretty girl because fuck Monkey King. And you're like, what? Why are you doing this? He's your friend. No, fuck Monkey King. And you're like, man, you guys are all dicks to Monkey King. I know Monkey King is an asshole, but I don't think he deserves this.
I mean, I think that's the story at the end of the day. Everyone's dicks and assholes. It's just that. You just need to read this and just have the scene from Team America playing in the background, and then you'll be like, oh, it all makes sense. That's all it is.
Again, I feel like we're at the point here where we're just gonna find out that, guys, don't worry, he never actually ate her in the first place.
Every bit of this was a lie.
Yeah, because none of this would make any sense otherwise. Like, oh, if he did, I'd be like, then why don't you just explicitly tell us that he did? Like,
I'll have to look. I think that did occur, but I can check for that. It's been over 500 chapters, so it's very plausible that it didn't. We just don't remember because of all of the information that we've gotten, and now all of the new information we're just being dumped on in like a handful of chapters. So it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, we're still in, I don't know what even I want to call this, the end of the world fight, since it's an end of world fight, and somehow there are still people alive, even though the planet's literally got almost no atmosphere and breaking up in space and all of the other things. Don't
worry, guys. The power of friendship
will hold this off.
Okay.
I don't know where else we're at with this, but still, yeah, we'll see how.
Because I'm waiting to be told that the prophecy was a lie. Okay.
I mean, because we could hold down some money on that to see if like that is actually what ends up being the story bit, is that everything that we've been told has actually been a lie up to this point. You got 5 on it?
I have no idea.
But you just said it.
Hard to read this because like I can only be okay. This is what chapter is this? What chapter is this?
This is 526 was the last one.
Yeah, this is over 500 chapters worth of stuff that we have to try to remember. Okay, over 500 chapters of these kind of things. All right. There is a point where I can only absorb so much more new information. All right, and I like every single chapter has it where like I'm introducing a new character, and you're like, what? But I didn't even get time to digest the last character.
Doesn't matter,
right?
they're dead.
Like,
doesn't matter, they'll be dead in the next chapter.
Just move on. Next chapter, new character. And you're like, oh, what? I don't know why you're doing this to me. Because
honestly, like I said before, what I think that a lot of how much information we're being dumped and all of these extra story elements, this could almost be its own separate side story.
Yeah, it could have just been like a guided or something, and I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, I can read this on the side if I really want to, all right? It's like, if you're reading, Record of Ragnarok, right? Yeah. Record of Ragnarok is nothing but just the fucking tournament scene, right? But then there's there's side stories where they're like, oh, hey, if you really want to know the story of Lu Bu, I'm writing this in a different side story, okay? Yeah. You can read that there, all right? I'm like, cool, great. Because the thing here is you're playing with already known mythological characters, all right? You can bend a little bit, but when you're like basically rewriting the entire history of that character, either you have to introduce them much earlier so that people can like digest and like understand who this character is and be like, oh, okay. But like the way this writer is doing it, it's like, I am reading this now. I have no idea who this character is, and he's going to die in the next chapter. I know this. Why? Because that's how it's been going on with all these other characters. Where they get introduced, they get like 5 chapters, and they die. Okay. I don't care. Move on.
Yeah. Yep. I knew that this would just be so much of a rise from you once again, as it has been for these last 20-30 chapters every time. But yeah, the continuing epic saga of the end of all ends here. Anything else you wanted to bring up in that long rant?
No.
You calm now again? Okay. All right. Well, we'll move out of that topic there to a new story for you that hopefully will bring your spirits back up, because it is about the greatest dad of all, the Peerless One. Two chapters to talk with on here. 78 and 79.
I feel like you were behind.
That's unless I wrote those down incorrect.
I'm at 181, so.
Oh, I might have wrote the wrong thing down. Then that's all it is.
Alright, here. I'll go off by what you're saying. So you tell me what you remember.
Where'd it go? There it is. No, that's... Oh no, 181. It's because of the other one is incorrect, so I just looked at the wrong one. Okay. So yeah, 180 to 181 is what we got. So Pops finished his training at the Shonen Temple with the brothers. And I'm guessing hopefully this means he is heading back home. The association, or at least I don't know what his brother's group is called right now, if they're just an underground group that's kind of holding the criminal element in check right now. But Uncle Locke is kind of trying to keep things in order there, but because of their meddling, they've started to get noticed by some of the other syndicates and other elements, and the leader of one of the groups went out and attacked them head on now after they took out supposedly some hired assassins. And that dude was basically more than enough to handle all of their group before Ak had to step in, and even he wasn't able to fully take care of that situation. So Ak is basically on the ropes in these last chapters, and he is seen making I'd say appeasement to it was the elder or the head of the group that they kidnapped the two guys from, correct? He went and talked to him because he doesn't know that Ak is responsible for those two's disappearance. So he goes to him and he basically makes like fealty, or basically, oh yeah, we've been operating here, but we've been choosing not to have a side on who we remain loyal to, but we basically give, appeasement to everybody so that, they don't fuck with our business. And he goes to him and tells him, he's like, yeah, but I know that you're like more honorable. So he gives him a little bit more and showing generous. And he's like, yeah, but that guy's basically like, okay, I understand that, you don't want to have a side, but at the same time, people don't like it when you don't choose sides. If you just try to sit in the middle and just see who comes out at the end. And he tells him about the son or the nephew of one of the sect heads, who is playing in this like political game of between the inner and outer walls of the city, and how he basically hates people who sit on the sidelines and just wait for whoever comes out at the end and praises them at the end. And he said that if they choose to now back them, he'll send that guy, or he'll use him, and he'll basically give them protection, because now that other group that attacked them is trying to get the criminal syndicate, I believe is what they call them, right? Or the criminal coalition. They're trying to get them involved. Yeah, they're trying to get them involved against them. And they said, like, yeah, they can't handle that at the end of the day. So Ock is basically in this, he's no longer playing the game of like just, you know, just street thugs beating up street thugs. Now he's basically playing the political gambit because they can't keep the order and the business running if they're gonna, you know, try and keep this the separatist movement that they've been on with right now. So yeah, Ock's basically in a corner right now with that going down. The kids are still being watched now after the two older guys showed up and went to go and train with the twins. We saw that we saw the return of the flying dragon. She appeared and attacked them and asked why the hell that they were messing with the kids, thinking that they were doing something nefarious. And during that scuffle, old man Roshi shows up and turns out to be her teacher's brother, or kind of her teacher's brother, or her
friend brother.
Basically,
she knows who he is.
She knows who he is, and because she calls him like great uncle or something, because she's a friend of her master who also is surpassed beyond him. But yeah, he basically tells her to just like let it go, otherwise it's gonna kind of make things worse. And then also states like, yeah, you know, you're not supposed to be dealing with this anyway because you've already washed your hands of this world. You're supposed to be kicking back and not doing anything that involves anything in the Miram. So I think she's now watching the kids on top of him watching the kids while those two are around. And yeah, so that's at least where those previous chapters, I believe, were. That was up to 179, correct?
Yes, I think.
Okay, and then 180 gets us back with Pops on his journey back home, stopping in one of the towns, and he's trying to figure out the best path to get home. And he thought about using the boats, but he's not 100% sure since it's not going to be driven by one of his other friends. And he's the
only boat I trust is that one friend of mine.
That one friend that wants to kill me. But he runs into a bunch of street performers. One of them basically throwing off the performance of fight this person if he surrenders or quits or is unable to fight.
Okay. He's definitely a white guy doing boxing, right? Because that's what he's like.
Well, the way that he squares up,
right?
Yeah, the way that he squares up, yes, it's very much a boxing style. But basically, pay some money, you get to fight this guy. He's not going to fight back. If you can knock him out or have him surrender, you'll get, what was it, triple the money that you put in, triple the money of the bet. And you know, he's watching this go down, and the first person that is interested in doing this is clearly a criminal element person, throws in a bit of money, starts throwing blows, notices he can't get any of them to connect. The guy's just bobbing and weaving in between every one of his shots. He finally does get some hits in, and the dad's watching this from the sideline, like admiring the technique. He's like, oh, he like the way he like kind of dodges, and then when he starts getting hit, he's like, he uses a technique that seems similar to his style from his training, where he can he just takes punishment, but he doesn't really seem to feel it or be affected by it. Of course, the whole thing ends with the guy losing in the performance. He of course is super pissed. The dad is watching this from the sideline going, yeah, okay, these two are definitely scam artists, but they need to be careful of what could potentially happen, because that kind of person is someone that will not take a loss as honorably as anybody else would. He ends up going into basically just a bar to get something to eat. The story moves back to Ock, who's still doing some political shit. I I couldn't be sure if the guy who he was talking to was the same dude that he was speaking to before, or if he was speaking to another friend. Can you confirm that?
I don't know.
Because
I don't pay attention to like fourth party characters very well, because they're going to die soon in my assumption most of the time.
I mean, they may not die. It's not in that story, because this person may be someone else that they know that's involved with helping.
Well, okay, what says
situations.
Goes and does more political things, and he's trying to curry more favor.
Yeah, he's more or less trying to curry more favor, at least to try and get some help with their little business that's basically on the ropes of being smashed by every bad entity that's going on. Not to mention, there's already this inner power struggle between each of the schools about who's going to become the new head of the Heavenly Dragon. So that's a whole another gambit that is playing around in the background. The one thing though, we started off with 108 though, is it opened with the sister in a valley, which I wasn't really 100% sure what I was seeing, but you just see these pathways like through what looks like either a valley or a mountain trail, and then it coils around her and she starts talking. She's like, you know, Master said I'm not supposed to be using this power, but where the hell did he go? And she walks off, and it's in like the brush pattern that she's been doing for with the teacher all this time. So she has an energy manipulation ability that she can form into like a snake. Is that what would you glean from that arc?
No, I don't know if she forms into a snake. It's more like, okay, if we look at how like it works before, like the whole like yin yang and chi thing, right? I think that's just how, like, to her it looks like. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that's how it is. It's just like a massive energy. It's It's not actually living, right? And like the way she was saying this. Yeah, and the way that she was talking about it, she was like, she was like playing with it like you would play with your food, right? So like the way I think is like that's how she thinks it looks like, not actually how it actually looks like though.
So it's just more or less a interpretation given form. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, just we haven't really seen. I mean, most of her exceptionalism to her powers has been that she's basically a very good tactician. You know, she has some power, not as much as her brothers, but she can use her power effectively to basically win in any given fight that she comes up against. But now to actually like see this new form that we haven't seen, or this display of ability, I don't know if this is something specifically from her master, or like you said, this is her interpretation of that and it's given it this form in some way.
I think we'll find out eventually.
Hopefully,
because as she walks away from her little like devastation, then like someone's watching her.
Yeah.
So
yeah, some person is watching her up in the mountain area. Don't know if this is, because one thing that's been up is that these kids are in some level of danger since Dad has been out, and a ton of people are not happy with him. Especially the one kid that he had to end up taking out because he was pretty much wounded beyond help. We know that the political parties are against the dad because he's just they keep calling him a first-rate warrior, but we know that he's stronger than that. But they're very pissed off that he's getting like all this notoriety and political favor. And upon other things. So the kids have become targets once before, and now it feels like they've got an even bigger target on their back because of that. So I don't know if this is Master or somebody else he's put in charge of watching or keeping an eye on. Granted, we know that he doesn't have too many people he really trusts or talk to, being as strong as he is.
No, that's not how strong he is. It's also more like no one besides the ones who instantly recognize him in like non-muscular form, okay, then like everyone just believes he's like this like.
Well, they believe like he's just this old
man who
this old
know,
janitor
like,
man.
Yeah.
Who tells all these like fantasy stories that, you know, are not true. It's like, why would you, if you were like that, why would you just be sitting here sweeping the ground every day if, you know, you have all this money and you gave it to your dad and now they live off perfectly well, and you've also like beaten some of the strongest people around. Why would you just sit there and do this? Yeah, so I think that's everything.
Why would you choose to be a peasant? And he's like,
because it's simple. And no one fucks with me.
I'm real tired. You see this? I'm real old.
I've washed my hands of your world. I don't care. I'm just gonna be me now. But yeah, so that was at least from those two to three chapters there that I pulled out of everything. So yeah, Dad, after we see the end of that, we go back to Dad at the bar, him getting a drink, and he sees the two performers sitting across the table from him, and the one guy that they basically scammed shows back up, but now he's backed up with two other people, and he goes, hey, you really, I'm ready, you want to do that game again? And he goes, because, you know, I'm up if you are. And Dad's basically like, okay, this is clearly a ploy. You should know when to fold them and get out of here. Don't take the bait. They take it anyway. You know, they ask for payment.
Let's be honest. They were trapped up between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, they were. They could have said no because it's like, no, we're not doing it right now. But at the same time, yeah, it would raise an issue. But the dude drops in basically some big money. They kind of look at it as, oh crap, if we win this, we don't have to worry about eating for a month. But if we lose, we got to pay him more money than we even have. So of course they take it. They start the little competition. She begins counting down. That's when he steps to the side and lets this other dude fight, and then goes, hey. And then she goes, what's going on? And he's like, well, it wasn't against your rules that the person who paid had to be the one who fought. And when they start squaring off, the guy starts throwing kicks instead of punches, and instantly things are changing. And she goes, what's up with that? And he's like, well, there was no rule that stated that you couldn't kick, just that, you know, I couldn't use any weapons. Basically their whole game just gets turned on him. The guy ends up, of course, being more powerful than, the one boxer dude is able to handle. The first challenger, but the dude's able to handle. He goes to basically land a blow that would probably put him down. The girl jumps on top. She's about to basically, you know, end it on her, and the other dude that he brought with him pulls it, or at least pushes him out of the way enough that he lands the blow right next to him. And that's when Pop says, oh, that's a master. The two are basically completely devastated. The guy comes up, the scummy guy comes up and goes, where's my money? And they're like, here's everything we have. We can't pay anything else. And like the scummy guy goes, well, if you can't pay the money, then you should pay with your body. And of course, Pops goes, not having that, and steps up. And the chapter ends there. So once again, someone picking on another lady, and Dad's like, I don't like this shit. I just don't like this, and steps in. So do we see Pops taking on the master, or just the master watching him and going, that looks familiar. I might know who you are.
Who knows? I
mean, I'm sure a few people know. I'm sure the author knows.
I mean, yeah, but you know, it's fine. Peerless Dad is also one of those. I don't like to predict what's going on very much.
You don't want to ruin it because it's always entertaining.
It's well written.
Yes, it is. It is quite well written. Things move in a pace that makes sense, and characters are brought in and talked about, and you kind of know how they interlock with everything. Granted, there are still a few where you're like, who the hell is that? Why the hell are they here? What are they talking about?
But when it happens though, it's more like, yeah, but you know these characters could just be dismissed. Like later on, they're just be like, yeah, we just never bring these characters back because they were just like I said, fourth parties. Like, who cares? They're fine.
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know. I know that I'm waiting for Pops to get back home because shit's getting a little bit more serious there. I'm kind of wondering when he's going to stop having the side quest adventures, which seems to keep happening every time he tries to head back. We don't really know how far away he is from home, but at least you know it's far enough that he was wanting to take a boat ride home. So, yeah, the next chapters I'm expecting either is going to be another split between him fighting this person, or it'll be a full chapter of him fighting this person, and then the next one will be what's happening with Ak and the kids again, since that seems to be the jump between
pattern,
right now,
yeah.
The pattern that we're getting at this moment. Yeah. I am glad to see more time with the little sister, and the fact that we did get to see her display an ability, because I kind of want to see what she does with it, especially since she's been informed by her teacher to not use this ability ever. So I kind of wonder what's going to be the pushing point that gets her to like actually display her talent even in front of her brothers, and they go, what? When did you learn that? You've never been at the lessons. I didn't remember you teaching anything. And her have to be like, oh yeah, I picked it up from nobody because I'm not supposed to tell you. Don't worry about it. All right. Anything else at least on those chapters, though, Ark? Anything else you want to bring up to talk about? All right. Okay. So we'll move on here to our next one, second to last, but certainly not least. One of the new reads from this time with Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, chapter 66. We were basically in a tournament arc, weren't we?
Kind of.
It was basically that, because the kings it's basically
it's a tournament arc, but like the main character kind of knows the outcome anyways, and then he's like,
well, he doesn't entirely know the outcome, because it was a tournament arc within a tournament arc. Because first it started off as King of the Castle. Basically every person, or it was capture the flag. Every person gets nominated a flag. You're the leader. Your job is to take over other people's flags. You need enough. And once you gain enough, you become king, and you're allowed to join into this more or less big battle for all to determine who is now the king of all the other kings. And the prize was, once you did that, you got to sit on this what was it called, the Throne of Kings, or basically just this giant pyramid throne. It was the Aga Crag, but whatever. Once they did that, basically that person would become king of the entire region, according to at least what our main character said. And he basically played, like you said, he plays the system. He already knows what the outcome was supposed to be. He plays the system to get all the other candidates to basically gather together, fight for this fake tournament that he devised inside of it, so that they would take each other out, and then they would also make this item that he needed to basically then turn and use to summon the deities of the, what was it, the Big Dipper? Or the Little Dipper?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He summons the seven stars and the 7 deities of the Big Dipper. He uses that in order to transform this item, which was a nothing item, to one of the most powerful items, so he could then in turn cut the throne in half.
No, it's not that it was a useless item, it's that you have to receive permission from them.
Well, he said it because in the beginning he's like, well, the item was useless because it was not the way that it sounded. It was supposed to be super powerful, but it wasn't. Like there was no power to it. So he had to gain the more or less the right to transform, because the sword basically upgrades into this massive powerful sword. And basically what it's allowed to do is it's allowed to sever the connection between an object and the deity that it's in line with. So he uses that in order to cut the throne in half and sever that connection between that and the powerful god that's behind that object. Of course, there's massive recoil when you do that. But at the end of it, because he's of course breaking every rule, and of course the gods love seeing this occur, all of them give him favor and take a bit of the damage that he's receiving from this act. And it ends with him getting a new title of, what is it, the King of No Kings?
The King of the Kingless.
The King of the Kingless, or the King of the Kingless Kingdom.
Yeah.
You realize that's KKK, right?
It's fine.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it though? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. But at this point, basically he states that by doing this, he's now broken at least the part of the story that he knows is supposed to occur. So this, at least from the way that the story is presented, this should technically like break all the knowledge that he has going forward, because every other scenario won't play out the same way, because he's completely changed how the things are supposed to occur now. Am I correct in that, or?
I don't, like, kind of?
I'm just wondering, because, I mean, I know his ability will still probably take an effect, because it basically works as a glossary and a thesaurus for him on every character he runs into, and it just gives him all the knowledge and stats of what they have, even at this current moment, even if it should technically be different. But yeah, at least he won't, anything he has of what's supposed to occur won't be accurate, because, you know, the main character doesn't take the throne.
It's more than that. He's also he's come to the realization, or at least to the point where he didn't realize he only has one life, unlike the main character of the story.
Well, the main character, if they die, he regresses. He always will restart the story.
Yes.
But he knows that, you know, I'm an entity that was supposed to die at the very beginning of the story.
So he has only one life. Or
yes.
at least that's how he assumes it.
At least that's how he assumes it. Yeah. Because he technically had he's technically had two, because the ability he gained from
being a non-killer.
Being a non-killer and then engulfed in flames, he gained that like ability to have a second chance. So he's found ways to more or less give himself multiple lives.
Yes, but there's only one telling of the story, though.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Yes.
He doesn't regress like the main character of the actual story, who can try different things. He has only one attempt at things, though.
Yes, that's true. But he's also now more or less forcing the character, because we don't know at what level of regression he is, but he's now forcing that character to basically go to the end of the story, even though he might not be the one at the point of the regression that he should be at, where he does do what he's supposed to. So he's manipulating certain things in his favor, but also changing some other stuff. But we all know that because he's not the main character, that the real main character is still a threat, and he doesn't like him very much for that. Oh god, the little girl that they brought along, her power was disgusting. She vomits like a whole, what was it, like a whole chair or something?
I know, yes.
Because they needed to get something for him, and she had to like regurgitate it, because her ability is basically storage, but it's inside of her body.
Yes.
I was like, oh, why? But yeah, so the one other thing though was that, according to what he was saying, is that every other nation is having like an omniscient, or having this same thing go on as well. So they also have their own main characters. in their own stories.
Yes.
And they also have people that are also going to sit on that same kind of throne and become kings of those lands.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Because so far that's the best way to describe it.
there's not really a lot to go on.
It's like this. You know of the show Big Brother, right? Yeah, cool. But that you're watching Big Brother for America, but that's Big Brother UK, right? Like that's the best way to describe it. It's all individually. They're all the same show.
They're all the same show.
They're just
in different
located
places,
in different regions.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the best way to describe it. And then
Yes.
Korea, unlike everyone else who has followed like the actual like
Script
whatever
of what's supposed to occur.
Yeah, what's supposed to occur. Here, because he did the thing where he did, where they're now a kingless region, then it's like, oh, you thought you were watching Big Brother, but it's actually the real world. And you're like,
oh man, crap, everything's wrong. I don't want to be in this house.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Like that's how it is. I thought I was watching Big Brother,
and it's the real world Dave Chappelle edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But that is probably an apt description of kind of what's going on. It is very much a live reality show, but the contestants get to more or less bid on who they think is going to survive and who they think is going to die. More than anything. Yeah. So we'll have to see at least what the new title gains him. I don't know if the rest of the leaders are going to be happy with what he's decided to do, or if this will make this now like a lawless kind of region and you'll have to like rule people by committee still, or how that's going to work out. Granted, he's already been multiple steps ahead of most people, and he did kill the fake Omniscient reader as well. Or the plagiarist, as I think he called him.
Yes.
He nicknamed him.
The lady who was like, haha, I know what's going on. And he's like, no, you don't. Because you only like.
Because you only read, you read up to this part and then you wrote your own book that's 100% copied on this book. And no, I didn't. You're a liar. I'll get this all-powerful sword and kill all of you. Wait, why doesn't this work? So yeah, I don't know if that was season end for that. I believe, was that season end?
Was it?
Where are you? It might not be. It might be. Nope. Just end of Kingless World Part 2 end. So yeah, not season end.
No, I thought it was just like only that story arc is done.
Yeah, the Kingless story arc is done.
Yes.
So, it felt like it could be a good place to stop because everything that occurred, I was like, okay, I think the main character probably has done quite enough, and probably might want to break.
I think that we just picked it up today for the story, and
yeah,
then it ended, and it'd be like, well,
taking a break. We'll be back later. Bye-bye now. Yeah, we'll see. It doesn't say anything on there that it is taking any break that we currently know of, so we'll see if it'll continue forward. I'm sure that our MC will need to be rested and relaxed for a little bit because, yeah, taking the backlash of basically a cosmic level deity was rather tolling. So we'll see how that ends out for him. All right, we'll move on here to our last one, and I'll let you take this with Skeleton Couldn't Protect the Dungeon, chapter 152. You want to regale us what happened in this one arc?
let's go. I guess go back.
You
a couple
want to go back a
chapters.
chapters? Okay.
We've had it. Okay. So in this,
we know season 2's just started not too long ago.
In this lifetime, we have it where, instead of our skeleton boy revealing to his master that he is alive and well, things have changed where people now have memories of past lives, okay, with our main character here.
Yeah.
And as such, things have been slightly changed, but the circumstances of what has been changed haven't been changed itself. So his master was still having difficulties of ruling the region, her territory, right?
Yeah, becoming the new leader
because there was a
territory.
power struggle, and he finds out there's a power struggle between her and someone else, but he finds out that if he can convince whoever is in charge of selecting the next actual heir to that region, then he can make it so that it is his he can make it Rubia's
Rubia,
who's in
his
charge.
master. Yep.
He eventually finds out that the person who's in charge of the entire thing is supposed to be the knight who kills him the first time around, but then he is like, oh wait, they changed it, and it's then the transvestite guy is like, no, we're going to give it to this
backwood like lord.
Yeah, this honorable lord. He's not really a lord. He's just kind of like a lord in name. All right, guys, it's fine.
He's a mascot.
A good person.
He's just a mascot. He's the mayor of a town.
He's a mayor of a town. He just looks good. All right. But then we find out that he's like this snake thing that's like, oh yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, the crow guy, right? I am like that, but for this other dark god thing. And you're like, oh, okay, so why are you doing these things? Why are you killing people? And he's like, I like art. And you're like, what? Yeah, I just like Jeffrey Dahmer things and like make them into things. And you're like,
I take people and I make them into objects.
And you're like, oh, that's neat, I guess. And then Skeleton is like, well, if I'm willing to follow you, if you make Rubia,
hey, I have some information for you about stuff. Would you like it?
I'll do things for you if you make Rubia Lord. And he goes, sure.
I like you.
I like you. Let me give you the ability to just be invisible. What? Yeah, like true invisibility. Like no one knows you're there. There is no way anyone knows you're there.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, okay, this looks like it's going fine until we find out that like surely his contract to this new dark god is like corrupting him. And then after coming back, fulfilling his mission of stealing the diamond and hiding it, then it's like, yeah, it's fine because I don't know what the diamond was like connected to, like a good god or something, right?
It was some holy god.
It's a holy relic.
It's a holy relic.
Yep. But then they like
corrupt it.
They hide it, corrupt it, and then he's like, hey, thanks for doing a good job. I'll do what you wanted. I will make this girl like the
new lord,
master of the land, or whatever it is. It's fine. And then he's like, yeah, that's great. I finally can achieve and like complete my goal here. And then he goes, and then we get to see like she's like, oh,
they say that she's acting weird.
Acting weird, guys.
She's talking to nobody.
And I'm like, oh, okay. We knew nothing good was gonna come out of this, but like,
I mean,
man,
the thing that just felt off for me about that is that he's never personally talked to that other god, but he's dealt with every regression he's had has been dealing with that god's like servants or lackeys in some way.
It's like that circle of dark gods. It's always been like that circle of dark gods has always been troublesome, right?
Well, no, because the snake god, that's the leader or the god they pray to for the Necron Society, all the people with the snake tattoos, and he's dealt multiple times. The ninja assassins he ran into were part of that. The very scary lady is a part of that. All of them have been people that he's dealt with that are servants or lackeys to that god. So the fact that he finally meets like basically the equivalent of Isaac, or a high priest to that god, and he just joins along with them after like 2 regressions with Isaac, and he was like, I don't like Isaac. I don't trust Isaac. You know, the first time I tried to meet him,
Isaac, I don't trust those dark powers. I shouldn't be doing any of this. And then he's like, hey, but look, I feel like in this case, it was like he was going to die anyways. And he's like, all right, let me try to do the best I can to get the most I can out of this deal in this lifetime, because I think he's still stuck in the point where he's like, he believes that he can restart. So he's like, if anything goes wrong, it'll be fine. I'll go back anyways, right? Yeah. But I think he doesn't realize that like what like is like the problem is like these people who he is close to, who restart like with him, are beginning to remember things, right? Yeah, the more the people, well, it's not even that they're remembering things, but they're progressed further than when he meets them. Because even though he starts back in the grave, Rubia isn't there. She doesn't do the resurrection for him. She's currently in the middle of trying to gain her. No, she tried to, but he resurrected without her, though. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he resurrected without her, but she's in the midst of doing her like controlling of the land, of trying to become the Lord. But we know that Rubia, like him, is actually also a player. She has a stat window that she can see as well, and because she leveled up so much when she reset with him this next time, her stats were, I'm guessing, somewhat carried over, because now she has more ability to be and handle the lordship. She also says she kind of feels like she knows somebody else was helping her, but she can't really quite remember what. What was the guild thief? What was her name again? I know who we're talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, she has leveled up beyond where he meets her. Like now she's actually like a guild leader. She knows the real guild master and is secretly helping that person. You know, all of these people are, I don't believe she has a stat window like Rubia, but they're progressed further in their story arcs or their lines than when they were initially supposed to meet him. So I don't think he's quite grasped that, yeah, when he makes changes, if they are of significance enough, they will push forward in some way. So even though he may reset to start 0, the others don't, kind of. Yes. So, yeah, but I was just surprised that he would be, after having that entire speech or having that entire couple of chapters of him, like, dealing with Isaac, and then, you know, also, even before he met Isaac, when he dealt with the supposed, like, good deities, the ones that end up beginning the war, who are, or the ones that will be the ones that eventually, that wake up him to meet the succubus master, or the vampire master that first summons him. You know, they're supposed to be on the, and even they're, like, not great to be around either. So the fact that, yeah, he meets the snake god, he's like, okay, even if he believes he's going to die, the fact that he would still go along with it. And also it seems like he's very enthralled by the power that he's obtained. I mean, I don't know how many knights he killed before he, like, runs off with the diamond. He seems like very drunk on that. And the fact that, like, yeah, he's like, oh, well, I'll get Ruki in a good position. I'm like, how do you think that, like, they're not, like, this person's not going to do something to double cross you or do this in a way that you're probably not going to want it? You mean, like, how do you know this isn't going to be a monkey's paw wish? Because I'm going to tell you this, as soon as you said it, I knew it was a monkey's paw wish. I mean, right? I knew it was like, I like, the dude looks evil 24/7. I like, okay, this isn't going to be like, he's not going to get like the luck dice that he got with Isaac, because in all honesty, the only reason that he one-upped on Isaac was a lot of lucky bullshit, like writing plots in there. Like the fact that, oh yeah, Isaac couldn't take over his mind because of... No, it wasn't because of that. It was also because, like, Isaac also, like, is an idiot too. Like, Isaac is so focused on, like, trying to discover the truth of the world that, like, he like,
he ends up falling into really bullshit thing. Like he gets himself trapped in the locket. You know.
Yeah.
He ends up like getting
unlike the obviously Snake guy who's like, no, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I don't care for any of that. All I want to do is I just want to make pretty art. And you're like, oh, you're dangerous. You're the actual psychopath.
you're an actual problem. Yeah, and that's the thing where I'm like, okay, so even in these like 5 or 6 regressions, you still clearly can't see like true evil or danger right in front of you. Like the moment it makes.
I think he knew it was true evil, but I think he thought that
he could play
contract once. He dealt with a contract once with Isaac that it would be the same. But he doesn't realize that Isaac filtered that, so it wouldn't be so difficult. It would not be so. It wouldn't
be so like hindering and demanding.
Yes, but here it is like a full blown like Boltus is like, oh, this guy is like a power hungry skeleton who's willing to just kill things. Go on, dude. This is exactly what I want.
It's what I want you to do, and I'll just feed into that as much as I can. Yeah, it was just weird for me to see that. I was like, okay, so I feel like this whole regression line for this one is going to be a huge wash. Like, sorry, he's definitely going to die and go back, but like, it's going to be like, okay, I know who the real villain is when I go back this time, but most of this,
it was me all along.
God damn it.
Because, like, that's literally what it is, right? He's going to go back and be like, oh, I'm the one who got Rubia killed this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was my fault. And, you know, it just goes to show for all of the other things. And he's going to end up running back to find Isaac again because, like, okay, I'm going to deal with the enemy I can at least know and trust on that level. Because there are others that are far more devious and better planned at, you know, being underhanded than Isaac, who is powerful but a klutz.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, he ran into her to guild leader once again. So he gave her some information. And basically, just I'm thinking not to go forward with the plan that they had to go and steal that Lilim from the palace, because it's just going to end in all of them getting killed by the random Robo Knight that appears. He didn't go back to the palace for Crowboy, nor did he, I don't believe he interfered with he didn't interfere with the tournament. So the one no, I think he did. He ran into what's her name in the forest, and he challenged her. The one warrior lady. He challenged her and then told her to go to Rubia because she'll make her a knight, a real knight. So that he was trying to set Ruby up with like the best possible like people and stats of trustworthy individuals that she could like right away. And even then, after all of that, it's still like, in the beginning, it was like, okay, you're padding your deck, you're being wise, and you're doing this properly. But then he ran into Bortus, and I was like, okay, you just threw all that progress down the window, just down the drain and out the window right away. Because I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going to turn into like all bad. And I was wondering,
he was trying to make best out of it, but I feel like he didn't realize that maybe the best out of this should be like, I should just die here. I'll start over. It's fine, because making a deal here seems like a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, with all of these contracts again, I'm also wondering if that's like there's going to be some negative drawbacks or side effects to that as well. Will he get to keep the super stealth that he gained in some way? Because he's gotten to keep some of the abilities that he got from the circuits for Isaac.
No, but the circuits is different. Like,
unlike the circuits,
contract.
the Lilim, the Lilim, and
he didn't get to bring over the darkness.
Well, no, he didn't get to bring over the darkness ability.
So I don't think he can bring this ability over.
We'll have to see, because I know that well, we know that he learned about like the stats window as well as like his character choice window, which hasn't popped up again yet. So we know that he's at that's gonna probably come up again, and he's gonna get to choose a class. But I'm sure that that won't happen until the next regression, after we finally, after in the next chapter we find out what actually is happening to Rubia. Yeah, my guess is she's been replaced with one of the slug mine things, or she's been infected, or she's made some deal with Bortus like he did.
Think of it this way: you would think that as soon as he was able to get like this deal done, that his whole concern was like, oh yeah, I can finally finish the quest with Rubia, but the quest didn't ping. It's like, oh, it's done. Yeah. Right. Like, that should have been his first concern as soon as that was done. It should have just occurred immediately. Like, but I thought I was done.
Yeah, but I think that
I didn't hear
the ding bell.
Okay, where's my congratulations, guys?
I think he was too focused on that bloodlust power. Oh, also, and the fact that of the stealth, as he was very happy that he was very impressed by, like, before that scary lady, I knew I was dead every time I stood in front of her. I could do nothing. But now, because of the new magic stealth I have, I can't be detected by her. I could deal any blow right now to finish this off and get my revenge for all those times, if I really wanted to. I think he was more interested in just the newfound power he had, that he didn't realize, oh yeah, my goal of, getting Rukia in power, it didn't end when I completed my personal objectives in my head. So yeah, we'll see what Red Eye Rubia brings out at the end of the day here. We'll get with next chapter. Do we see him like turning on Bortus, or turning on the snake god, or the high priest?
He might try.
Or is he just gonna be like, or he's just gonna be like, all right, die. Just I'm gonna reset. Fuck this. Or maybe he'll go to Leonardo and like reveal himself and be like, I can help you accomplish that thing that you were trying to do before.
I fucked up.
I really need you to not kill me.
Wait. My bad. What? Yeah, my bad.
This was a bad run. I'm just gonna go ahead and restart the save file. Yeah. So, anything else though on that last chapter?
No.
Nope. All right. Well, that does bring us to the end of this current podcast and edition. We did have one more, which is supposed to be The Princess is Evil, but I am still reading through that to get caught up right now. So hopefully by the next recording, we will have that going forward. But for everyone out there, definitely thank you for joining us for this current edition. Please leave any comments down below for any of the stories that we covered, as well as any that you're currently reading, or anything that you might want for us to pick up on.
I'm not reading it already.
Yeah, if he isn't already reading, because truly every other day something new is coming across our table from him. But yes, thank you always for joining us. Please click that like button always, and click that bell so you can subscribe, get notified of any of the new shows that come out as they do. I, of course, am always going to close out as your big host. It is Sleepy.
This is our Dragoon.
Hey, take it easy, everyone out there.